What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. The NBA is back. I'm recording this prior to the Tuesday night games going off. This will be going up Wednesday morning. So something absolutely wild happened in those. I don't know about it yet, just kind of putting that out there. But can Victor Wembanyama save the NBA card market? That is one of the questions today. Also, fire off in the comment section below. What is your NBA hot take for this upcoming season? We'll pop into a few here later in the video. I want to talk a little bit about Victor. I want to look at some charts and graphs, and then I'll throw some stuff against the wall and see what sticks in regards to some general overall NBA thoughts. Listen, I have no idea if this kid's going to be good or not. It's really going to come down to can he stay healthy or not, because he is good. It's just a matter of health, to be quite honest with you. The stuff that he's done in the preseason already is absolutely wild. I am excited. He plays on ESPN tonight. I am excited to watch that game. It's probably going to be going on during Off-Centered, so while Dustin's an hour behind on comments, I'll be watching the Spurs game. But you know, can someone like him revitalize NBA cards? You know, basketball was pumped to the moon during the pandemic, more so than any other sport, and it has corrected harder than any other sport. Once again, justifiably so. It got super overinflated. Now, is Victor going to make your DeAndre Hunter Silver Prisms going back to being relative again? No. But just the act of him bringing excitement to the NBA will be a net positive. Listen, is it going to affect card prices? I really don't know. It's not going to send things back to the moon again. Let's not get crazy. But him being really good and getting everyone excited will bring eyeballs back to the league. People love the next best thing. They love hopes and dreams. They love whatever is over the rainbow versus the known quantity. And if he comes out on fire, which I think he potentially could, once again, needs to stay healthy. But if he comes out on fire, do we think, is there a chance we go back to shelf clearing for NBA releases? Maybe not all of them, but like for Prism. Maybe whatever the first Hoops, when Hoops comes out and it's his first card out of the gates. Do we see people, or are people going to be hunting vendors again, trying to clear blaster boxes off the shelf? Now, I have to imagine Panini has been working the printers as much overtime as they possibly could. They have limited control over them because Fanatics owns them now, but they know that they are losing this license eventually. Whether it's sooner rather than later, it is gone. So they have no incentive to check themselves at all. So I have to imagine 2023 product will be printed to the moon. And he could be the next greatest thing ever. Like I said, I really don't know. It's really going to come down to, can his body hold up? But when you just look at that picture alone that's on the screen, it just doesn't make sense. The stuff that he has done in some of the preseason games just do not make sense. And this is as a rookie coming into the league. Now, he played professional ball last year. That's almost better than playing in the G League, or as good as playing in the G League. So he is basically a professional player already coming into the league. Probably played against stiffer competition than if he went to college for a year. Regardless, got talent. Just can he hold it together? And his card prices are going to be crazy. You're going to look at stuff and you're going to be like, wait, what? Even in a down market, his stuff is going to go for crazy numbers if he stays on the court. The other thing too is, circling back to the wax discussion on 2023 and like the chase for 2023 basketball wax. The other part of that is the rest of the class could be potentially pretty good. Like, you got Victor, you got Scoot, Brandon Miller, and the Thompson twins. Those five alone are going to be popular. And then, someone will come out of the late lottery. Someone always does. Someone will get a little trendy. a little bit of excitement for someone, pick 8 through 17 or something, through 15. Someone in that back half or that middle section of the draft, rather, will get popular. They'll have a little bit of a breakout, get a little bit of a run. Everyone will get excited. Oh my goodness. But it really all comes down to Victor. But there is some other interesting names in there. Scoot's going to get a chance to play a lot with Dame gone. Thompson twins are really getting talked up. I don't know that they're going to be NBA stars. I think they'll be really good NBA players. But I don't know that they're going to drive sales. Brandon Miller is really an unknown for me. Scoot seems to be like he will be pretty flashy. And he will probably be popular if people realize that he exists, since he plays way out in Portland and West Coast games. But it's all going to be about Victor this upcoming year. Now, am I going to be running out chasing Wemby cards? No. I don't really think buying any rookie within the first almost couple years of their release is really worth the effort, to be quite honest with you. Now, if I run into a mega box, will I buy one and rip it just for the hell of it? Sure. Maybe. I've gotten burned by Prism Basketball so many times, it's ridiculous. If I run into something in a trade or send something in the grade, sure. But I just don't see myself running out and buying a bunch of Wemby cards. That seems like a fool's errand. We have had this how many times before, and 98% of the time, their rookie year, sophomore year are when their prices are the highest, and then they come down from there. Will he break the mold? He could. He's broken the mold and everything else. So that's just kind of my general overall approach. But regardless, him being healthy, him being good will be a net positive to some degree for the NBA as a whole and cards as a whole, because people want to see people do well. They will get caught up in the excitement. That will draw eyeballs, could bring some people back in. We'll have to see how it all plays out. Let's look at some past years here. I pulled up a bunch of charts on Market Movers, link in the description down below if you want to play with your own charts and graphs. Basically what I did is from 2022 class to 2017 class, I just ran a bunch of price movements for Prism rookies, silvers, PSA 10, for the whole class. I just put in the class, hit rookies only, and ran it. So we can just kind of see how things play out. I'm not going to go over every single one of these. What I am typically curious about on these is like, who's the player that's selling for the most? The other thing, and I won't run through each individual one, but the take note of, I ran these all back, or I'm displaying these all for the last 90 days. Take note of the percentage changes. That's this column right here. Just quickly looking, this is the 2022 class. This is all the guys that just came out. You don't see a lot of green here. There's a Marshawn Beauchamp, but I don't know if I necessarily trust that. I think that was just one outlier sale that spiked that thing way up. Could be wrong. But generally speaking, leading up to the season, the NBA market has no buzz on it whatsoever. The scary part with that is that typically what we see in every other sport is once the season starts, surprise, surprise, most cards actually start going down. Because as we've talked about, expectations meet reality, and reality never lives up to the lofty expectations that the card market puts on these guys. Now, will this year be different because most of these things did not get massive run-ups? I don't know. The world sucks. The economy sucks. Interest rates suck. Who knows? But I think that's just an interesting thing to kind of file away, is that most of these guys did not see huge run-ups. And in fact, most of their cards have been slowly downsliding for the most part. There are some exceptions, but just kind of keep that in mind as we kind of roll through some of these. So for the 2022 class, Chet is on top. We got Paolo right behind him. They are basically neck and neck. The reports on Chet are really, really good. Oklahoma City and the Magic, we can lump them in here too with Paolo, are getting a ton of pump. Throw in the Pacers, and those are the three trendy teams for the non-top end. Everybody loves those three. Pick the over, bet the over, love all the guys on them. Love Shea, love Tyrese Halliburton, love Chet, Jalen Williams, SGA, the whole 9 yards. Everyone's talking those guys up. But Chet has been playing really well in the preseason. Paolo's getting a bunch of run, about a hype to him. He played really well with Team USA. Shaedon Sharpe down there, or out there with the Trailblazers. That's probably way overpriced as much as he is kind of trendy. We got Mather, Jalen Williams, Jabari Smith Jr. He's probably one of the more intriguing ones as just a top pick last year. And he's looked pretty good in preseason. Can he bounce back now that there's actually adults in the room in Houston? But generally speaking, the 2022 class is kind of meh at the moment. It's really Paolo and Chet, and then some flyers down at the bottom. Chet, I as good as he looks, I have some questions regarding injuries there as well. Let's look at the 2021 class. Once again, we don't see a lot of green here. A little bit here. Cade slightly up. Evan Mobley slightly up. No, that was not me. Some red here on some of these guys, but no major crazy run-ups. Jonathan Kuminga, but that was from 100 to 150 bucks. Top of the list is Austin Reeves. I want to put a little bit of an asterisk by this. His PSA 10 is pop 33. Only 2 have sold in the last 90 days. And one of the last one that sold was on 9/21. So I don't know that that's that high. If it is, it's probably artificially inflated due to the population count. So just kind of keep that in mind. For the purposes of this, I'm going to say Cade Cunningham is leading this class, though Austin Reeves is going to be very, very popular. And he also played really well in Team USA. Cade Cunningham played really well for the select team prior to the World Games. He's getting a lot of pump on him. The Pistons, not so much as a team, but just Cade in general. My boy Evan Mobley, then Josh Giddey, Jalen Green are all kind of lumped together there, with Cade kind of being the clear front runner, Austin Reeves, a little bit of an asterisk, and then that next group of guys. And then when you get down towards the bottom, Scotty Barnes, remember when he was going to take over the NBA? For me, one of the more intriguing ones on here, once again, he's getting pumped to death along with the team, is Franz Wagner. The Magic, like I talked about earlier, are getting a ton of hype behind him. Franz is really, really good. I think he's going to have a really, really good season, but he's a big man. So, and he plays for the Magic. So those are not necessarily things that you want to see. Kuminga continues to be a pet project for just about everybody. And then you kind of get down into the spec plays. 2020 class, the Ant-Man LaMelo Ball class, and now Tyrese Halliburton. I think he is worthy to be included in there. Ant-Man getting a ton of buzz. He is probably the best performer of the offseason, up 29% on his stuff. We've talked about him a bunch in weekly sports card market updates. LaMelo Ball, I do not like LaMelo. I am not a fan. I just don't think he is ever going to be the best player on a championship team, and you need to be that to justify those prices. He's very popular on social media. I just don't know if he backs that up on the court. And the Hornets already appear to be a mess. Miles Bridges is already back in trouble again, and that is not a good look for that squad. Tyrese is the one that's getting a lot of hype, as well as the Pacers in general are very, very trendy right now. And then you have the other Tyrese, which is also an interesting situation to monitor, is what happens with James Harden. If Harden gets moved out and there is not a direct replacement, Tyrese Maxey could really take off. I don't know if it'll affect his card prices or not, but he could have a really big season. He's an interesting candidate for like most improved player. Devin Vassell's been getting a bunch of run, being paired up with Victor. He just got paid. Desmond Bane's down there. Boy, the Grizzlies scared the hell out of me too. I actually just bet they're under with the Ja Morant news, and then the Steven Adams news is what really scares me there. He's a very important part to their team, and they don't really have a way to replace him directly. They're going to have to trade for someone. So we'll have to see how that kind of falls out. Let's take a look at 2019. Remember when these guys sold for tons of money? Some of these things, I clicked on some of these. Some of the prices of these guys, I personally even forgot how wild some of these prices get. Maybe I'll click on a couple and we'll pull them up and look. Zion in the red, Ja Morant dead even, Jordan Poole up 40% for some reason. The Wizards are going to be god awful. Tyler Hero up 35%, but that's from $76 to $100. We're not talking about a huge difference there. The 2019 class is all about John Zion sitting around that $500 mark. Then it immediately drops off. That's the thing that you notice. The further you go back, things become more defined. And like I said, we see here with 2019, it's two guys, and then immediately it falls off the face of a cliff, and it drops quick. Darius Garland's only going for $100. Cavs are going to be good this year. I don't know if they're going to make a deep playoff run. They are going to be a very good regular season team. I will leave it at that. I own lots of Darius Garland. Cam Reddish, $65. I bet you that was from 8-7. That was a long time ago. I remember I talked trash on Cam Reddish once, and people in the comment section got so mad at me. I pissed off the Cam Reddish Nation. Oops. Guess I was right on that one. RJ Barrett down here for $43. Let's look at this one. This will be a funny one. What do you think this card sold for at the peak of the market? Way back when in early 2020 or late 2020, early 2021. Let's look real quick. Late 2020 or summer of 2020. PSA 10 RJ Barrett, $775. That wasn't even the peak. We have multiple sales here at $1,000 at the beginning of 2021, end of 2020. There's multiples at 800. This card now sells for $43. Let that just marinate for a minute. Some of these 2019 guys, here's the legend, Bull, PSA 10 silver, currently at $37. Peak Bull pricing, $743, 660, 689. If you remember correctly, this was the bubble, and this was the pre-games to the bubble playoffs. Remember, they went into the bubble and they played like a week's worth of games to kind of knock the rust off with all the bubble teams. This was from that. It wasn't even like actual legitimate games. That right there, go back and look on the channel. I made a fortune on Bull on Star Stock. Day trading, Bull. That was peak pandemic. Day trading Bull base prisms on Star Stock and making a killing. That's peak pandemic card craziness right there. If you have a better example of peak nonsense than day trading Bull base prisms A's, only A's, baby, Star Stock A's, on day trading those on Star Stock, I challenge you to put a better example than that in the comments down below. Sheesh, wild freaking times, man. KPJ, another legend. PSA 10 silver, now at $20. Peaks of the market, $470, $400. There's a $620, a $500, another $480. This guy's not even in the league anymore. He's basically done. Yikes. Let's look at 2018. Luka, in a class by himself at a little over 1K, basically staying flat. SGA up slightly. Him and Ant-Man, probably the two biggest winners of the offseason. He's sitting at $470. And then look at the drop off to Trae Young. Trae Young down to $180 in a silver prism PSA 10. Peak pandemic prices. 3.6K. Multiple sales around 3K and above. Man, what were we all doing? Sheesh. Jalen Brunson up slightly. Mikal Bridges up slightly. And then once again, we fall off a cliff here right after SGA. And then it goes way down to Trae Young. And then it's really cheap. Jaren Jackson Jr., really good player. No one cares about big men. This guy won Defensive Player of the Year last year. DeAndre Ayton, $50. Colin Sexton, my former Cavalier, $45. The bottom of this list, Marvin Bagley, $22 in a silver PSA 10. Peak of the market, $345, basically $300. Now a $20 card. Now Marvin Bagley silvers, people were selling them for $300 to $400. Now they're going in Justin Gamble repacks. That says it all. 2017, last one we'll look at here. Tatum, class by himself, $900, just under, up slightly during the offseason. I think Tatum has a decent shot to win MVP this year. I know. We say that every year. Yes, I own the green prism. Celtics are going to be really, really good. They are going to be really, really good. And I think there's going to be a little voter fatigue between Giannis, Joker, and Embiid. So that leaves Tatum as next man up, in my opinion. Huge drop-off to the next group of guys. De'Aaron Fox gets no love. Donovan Mitchell gets no love. Both their PSA 10s go for around $200. You know, it's a sad state of affairs when Lauri Markkanen sells for almost as much as you do. He is kind of next in line there, and then it drops way down again. Once again, big man get no love. Bam. Excellent NBA player. Anchor of the Miami Heat. One of the best bigs in the entire league. One of the best defensive players in the league. $89 for his silver prism. Kyle Kuzma, $40. Lonzo Ball, rest in peace, his knee. $35. What was peak Lonzo pricing? He got up to $400, $500, $600 in a PSA 10. Wild times there again. Anyone else? Is there anyone else spicy down on this list? Jonathan Isaac, $15. Harry Giles. Wow. Remember when the Kings drafted him. Wild stuff down there in the bottom of these lists. Fun little trip down memory lane. So, will these prices hold? Or if we look in 30 days, what's going to be going on? As I kind of talked about on the Sunday video, when it comes to air quote investing in these guys, you are better off to go for the guys that no one is talking about. You're better off probably to buy Jonathan Isaac at $15 and hope that turns into a $50 card than you are buying Jason Tatum for $900 and hoping it turns into a $1,000 card, to be quite honest with you. It's the way I see it. I think that's just the way that the market is currently working. It takes so much for an $800 to $900 card to go up even 20%. And remember, if you're selling on eBay, you got to get over 15% just to clear eBay fees. And, then taxes on top of it, the whole 9 yards if you're doing online flipping. Now, if you're selling on a Facebook group or something, you got a little bit more wiggle room in it. But for Tatum to go up 20%, a lot needs to go right. And once again, I'm not saying go out and buy Jonathan Isaac. I'm just picking someone like him at random. Jonathan Isaac being a $15 card and turning into a $40, $45 card, that 3Xing itself is way more likely than Tatum 3Xing himself. And that's coming from someone that owns a Tatum green. Find guys like this that you really like. Buy a couple of them. See what happens. On something like this, when it's $15 for a PSA 10 silver, it's just not going to take much to bounce that up. Load up on those guys. Throw them on your Comsty account. When they pop off, sell them immediately. Do not get cute. That's all I got for you, boys and girls. Enjoy the NBA season. Drop your hot takes down below. Cavs. Here, I'll give you my one NBA hot take. Cavs will have a top 2 record in the Eastern Conference for the regular season. I don't know what the hell's going to happen when they get to the playoffs. They're going to be a very, very good regular season team. Memphis in the West struggles to stay out of the play-in. I don't know how hot of a take that is anymore with the Steven Adams injury, but we'll throw that one out there. Both conferences are really deep. It's going to be a fun season. I know a lot of people hate the NBA. I love it. This is my favorite time of year. Catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.